Life has been whispering that it's time for a change, hasn't it? As the year draws to a close, if you're still stuck and at a crossroad, your angels are here, ready to guide you out of the uncertainty and into a chapter filled with purpose and light. Will you take their hand? You're standing at the sink, washing dishes, or staring at the glow of streetlights from your bedroom window late at night. The air feels still, but inside something stirs. It's not loud or clear, but it's there. A quiet knowing. You're meant for more. And yet here you are, caught in the same routines. Life feels heavy, as though you're walking through fog, with no clear path forward. You've done so much, held so much together, but there's this ache, this pull, reminding you that you're not where you're meant to be. Not yet. It's not that you haven't tried. You've pushed through, kept going, and done your best to ignore the whisper in your heart. But it lingers, doesn't it? In the empty spaces of the day, in the silence of the night. The dreams you tucked away, the choices you never made, the moments you let slip by, all of them still waiting for you, asking if you're ready to turn the page. Sophie knew this feeling well. For years, her life felt like a loop. Waking up, going to work, taking care of everything and everyone, then collapsing into bed only to wake up and do it all again. There was no space for herself, no time to even ask what she wanted. She told herself she didn't have the luxury to dream or change. Life needed her to keep going, to hold it all together. But one evening, while clearing out a drawer stuffed with papers, Sophie found an old letter she had written to herself. It was a list of hopes, dreams she'd had when her heart still felt light, still believed that anything was possible. She stared at it for a long time, her throat tight. The words felt like a message from a version of herself she'd forgotten, like an echo from the past saying, "You're still here. You still matter." That night, Sophie sat by her window, staring at the cold winter sky, and something broke open inside her. The quiet was thick, but it didn't feel empty. It felt like an invitation. The solstice, a time to begin again. The winter solstice is a sacred threshold, a pause in the year's rhythm. Nature slows and darkness lingers a little longer, but the light begins to return. It's the Earth's way of reminding us that endings are only the beginning of something new. And maybe, like Sophie, you've been waiting for a moment like this. A moment to breathe, to release, to begin again. You don't have to fix everything at once. You don't need all the answers. What you need is a choice. The willingness to take a step, no matter how small, and trust that the path will appear. This is where Archangel Michael comes in. Michael doesn't rush you or pull you forward. He simply stands beside you, steady and sure, with a presence that feels like a shield against the storms you've weathered. Sophie didn't know where to begin, but she started small. One evening, she lit a candle, closed her eyes, and whispered, "Archangel Michael, I don't know how to let go, but I'm ready. Help me clear the weight I've been carrying. Light my way and give me the courage to step into what's next." At first, nothing felt different. There was no grand sign, no lightning bolt of clarity, but something shifted. A tiny crack in the heaviness, as if her heart had taken its first deep breath in years. The next morning, the sunlight seemed softer, and the air didn't feel as heavy. She sat at her kitchen table, her tea growing cold, and reached for an old notebook she hadn't touched in years. She began to write, not about where she'd failed or what she hadn't done, but about what she longed for. Her words came haltingly at first, like a trickle of water breaking through a dam. Sophie didn't change her entire life overnight. Instead, she began to release, bit by bit, the things she'd been holding onto for too long. She forgave herself for the choices she hadn't made, whispering softly to her past self, "You did the best you could." She sorted through old things and let go of what no longer felt like hers. Clothes, papers, and even thoughts that didn't belong in her future. She stopped saying yes to things that drained her and started saying yes to the quiet pull of what made her feel alive. Walks under open skies, moments of stillness, and conversations that felt real. And with every small release, something else happened. Space began to open up. The light returned, not all at once, but in soft, golden fragments, as if Michael himself was walking beside her, clearing the path step by step. Your new chapter awaits. You might be here now, standing at your own doorway, the space between the life you've lived and the life that's waiting for you. It's a tender place, filled with uncertainty and hope. The next chapter of your life doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need a grand plan or perfect timing. All it needs is for you to show up, ready, open, and willing to take that first step. This solstice is your moment, a chance to pause, breathe, and begin again. If this message feels like it was meant for you, take it as your sign. Archangel Michael is here, ready to help you clear the weight of what's behind you and walk forward into the light of what's next. Click the link in the description box or comments to connect with Archangel Michael's guidance. Let his presence walk with you as you take this step into your new beginning. And if this message touched your heart, let it touch someone else too. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel for more moments of angelic guidance and light. If you're ready to walk this path hand in hand with us, click the join button below to become part of our channel membership. Together, we'll step forward into healing, hope, and the beautiful life waiting ahead. Your next chapter doesn't have to wait. The light is closer than you think. Take a breath, take a step. Archangel Michael will be with you every moment of the way.